What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? If you could have anything that you wanted, what would you ask for? These are the exact words I wrote on my 2026 vision board. Now, the reason why I wrote it on this vision board rather than any of the vision boards for the previous years is because I was born on the 26th of February, so 2602 rearranged is 2026. I decided that because this year is a really big year for me anyway, a significant birthday, significant life events, I decided from a while ago that this year was going to be my year. Now, a long time ago, I made a video called The Fear of Fear is Holding You Back, and this has been a concept of self-improvement that I have tried and sometimes failed, sometimes succeeded to follow for many years. This idea that failure is a construction in your mind and that we demonize failure for no apparent good reason, and that we stop ourselves from reaching our full potentials because of the fear of failing and the fear of not being good enough. So, if you are on a mission to overcome your fear and step outside of your comfort zone this year, then maybe try and do what I'm going to say. So, if you are experienced in stepping outside of your comfort zone, pick a year. Pick a few months out of this year, pick this year, pick next year, or pick a week. If you're inexperienced, just pick a day, pick an hour even. I want you to make a list of your fears. Be as unhinged as possible. And I want you to write down the reasons why you are afraid of these things. Is it because you feel like if you don't achieve something, or if you try and fail, even worse, then you're not good enough? Is it because if you do something, you're worried about what someone might say to you in response? For example, if you go up to that person who you've been making eyes at for the last few months, what if they reject you? What if by applying for your dream job you get rejected? What happens then? You failed. The reason why I'm making this video was because the other day I thought of something that my co-worker and I had discussed a few weeks prior. Whilst I was doing this activity, I thought to myself, I thought X would really like to know about this. But I felt really afraid of messaging him, even though he's my co-worker. I felt really afraid because we hadn't kind of crossed that boundary of being friends yet, and we still haven't. We're still just co-workers. So I thought by bringing up this unsolicited interaction that he might reject me. You know, what if he leaves me on read? What if he doesn't want to reply to me? What if he thinks I'm weird for reaching out? Now, obviously, I reached out and it wasn't the best reply I could have gotten, but I did it, and I didn't actually care about the fact that the reply wasn't, amazing. It wasn't this great friendly interaction. It was very short lived, but even though it was such a small thing, which I was nervous about, that's something that on an everyday basis I would have stopped myself from doing. I was so proud of myself for doing it, and it added to this idea, which I'll talk about later in another video in more depth, called a portfolio of proof, which many different YouTubers and self-help content creators talk about. It added to that portfolio or kind of list of proof reasons that I could overcome this fear, as tiny as it was, and this snowballs into a greater effect of being able to overcome and face more fears. This kind of reminds me how popular the idea of in self-improvement making your bed first thing in the morning is such a riveted and popular idea, and it's something that I do every day because it's such a small task, but it snowballs into a greater effect and leads you to having more little wins, little successes, which snowball into greater successes within your day. So, linking this back to the fear of fear, do you know that song Would've, Could've, Should've by Taylor Swift when she says, I wish you left me wondering? I've thought about this a lot with a lot of things that have happened in my life where I really just cried and thought, God, universe, I wish you left me wondering on this thing. The only reason why I'm saying that I wish that the universe left me wondering is because it didn't turn out well. If it turned out amazingly, I wouldn't be saying that. And if it hadn't turned out at all, I would be begging for God to just have let me know what was going to happen. You have the privilege of knowing what has happened. You have the privilege of hindsight. And I guarantee you that 99% of the time, you would rather know the outcome of a situation, even if it is negative, which is, a subjective construct anyway, something, a label that you put on a certain experience or feeling, than to never have experienced it and not have known at all. Because what if you do the craziest thing and it turns out completely okay? Even better, what if you do the even more most crazy thing and it turns out even better than you could have imagined? That's what I thought by applying to my dream university. I didn't for a second at the beginning think I was going to get in. And now look at me, out of 6 places, I got one of them. And even if it doesn't go right, and we'll talk about scarcity mindset later on, so what? Why is failure such a demonized thing? Why? Tell me, why is failing such a bad thing? On this floating rock in the middle of the sky, in the middle of nowhere, where you are one person, where you are one soul out of 8 billion souls, why does it matter if, for example, the guy you like or the girl you like doesn't text you back? In the grand scheme of your life, in the grand scheme of the universe and your purpose, why do these little mistakes, why do these little things not gone right, why do they matter so much? Genuinely, tell me, why do they matter so much? They don't. So you have 2 options. You can either assume that things are going to go right for you, and they will, or they won't go right for you, and then what? Okay, you've got more trust in yourself. You've got a sense of security in yourself. You know that you can handle when situations don't go your way. Honestly, it's kind of selfish to assume that if you do something, it has to turn out a certain way. Do you not trust the universe's plan for you? Do you not want to give everyone else autonomy? Let other people be who they want to be so that you can see who fits into your life and who genuinely wants to be a part of your life. And so if you think that failing makes you bad at something, if it makes you feel incompetent with something, who told you that? Who told you that, and who determines that? And you know what I'm going to say? You're the only person who determines whether your self-worth rides on your external achievements, which we both know they don't. So if we're on this floating rock, and if you know that whatever's meant to happen will happen, then you might as well do whatever the hell you want, obviously within reason, and you might as well dream as big as you possibly can. And if I told you this is your one life, this is your one chance at living on Earth, which, for all we know, it could and might as well be, then what would you do? What would you do differently? If you were right here on your deathbed right now, looking back at your life, how many chances do you think you would have taken? I bet you would have taken all of them, and I bet you would have done anything to be in the position of opportunity that you are in right now. What if you fail? But what if everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear? And even if it doesn't go that way, you know then that's not meant for you and something better's coming. And then from a spiritual and psychological aspect, if you are going around thinking worst case scenario, everything that you do is going to fail, if you, for example, think to yourself, oh, if I, like in my example, if I send my coworker a message, he's not going to reply to me and he's going to think I'm weird for messaging him when I'm not working with him, then you're going to be looking out for that experience more to affirm your subconscious belief that things don't work out for you. And obviously we have to finish off with the law of attraction. If you are vibrating at the frequency of fear, you are going to attract opportunities, not even opportunities, but events and people and situations that create more fear. So what the hell? Choose 2026, choose today, choose tomorrow, choose a week, choose a month, choose an hour, and do something that you're afraid of and watch yourself grow. Watch yourself achieve your dream life on the other side of fear. And share down in the comments what is the scary thing you did and how did it turn out for you. I can't wait to hear the amazing opportunities that you create for yourself on the other side of fear.